hosted by Matt Riches. $1 trillion tickets. Watch the market unfold. $1 trillion tickets. Turning data to gold. $1 trillion tickets. Watch the market unfold. $1 trillion tickets. Turning data to gold. $1 trillion. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Wherever you're tuning in from around the globe. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Welcome to the $1 Trillion Tickers broadcast. I'm your host, Matt Riches. This is the market check-in. The market is closed, and Fed Day delivered the volatility we were thinking about in the pre-market briefing. The federal funds rate came in right in line at 3.75%. The market sold off after that. We'll get into it later. The yields push higher. The stocks came down. The fear and greed index is at 33. The VIX spiked 12%. SpaceX pulled back below Amazon in market cap while staying above TSM. So today was a reminder. Sometimes the number comes in exactly as expected, but the reaction still tells the real story. This show is for education and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research, but you can use this show as a foundation. Let's get into the mindset with our mantra. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve the wealth that I'm building for me and my family. Riches and freedom, they come to our hands. I am the master of all I command. My learning is limitless. My earnings are too. The more I discover, the more I can do. The stock market is a machine of design, and I have the power to make that wealth mine. I am capable, I am skilled, I am bold. Blessings on the journey as the vision unfolds. All right, let's get into the data. Okay. The federal funds rate was forecasted to be 3.75%, and that's exactly where it came in at, right in line, 3.75%. After the decision, the market sold off. So the Fed did say that there is a possible rate hike before the end of the year. That was a hawkish surprise. The market didn't like it, and it sold off. We'll get to the numbers later. All right, let's get into Robert Greene's daily law for today. The seductive visuals. Today's daily law is about not being fooled by appearances. Robert Greene says people are always impressed by superficial appearances of things. Visuals matter, presentation matters. A chart can look strong, a headline can look bullish, a rate decision can look harmless because the number came in exactly where we expected, but the surface is not always the truth. Today was a perfect example. The Fed held rates steady. On the surface, that sounds neutral, but underneath the surface, the projections were more hawkish. That is what moved the market. For investors, the lesson is simple. Do not stop at the headline. Read the reaction. Read the full article. For traders, the lesson is even sharper. Do not trade what the announcement looks like. Trade how the market responds. Execution over emotion. Process over prediction. Stay patient. Stay disciplined. Now let's get on these charts, y'all. All right, so we got SPX closed. Well, the futures is now open again. I was trying to finish this before the futures opened again, so I'll be able to see it. So let's just skip the futures and let's go to SPY. Okay, SPY. It hit a high today of It hit a high today of 752 and a low of 739. It ended up closing at 740, down 1.25%. QQQ hit a high today of 735, hit a low of 720, ended up closing at 722, down 1%. IWM hit a high today of 295 and a low today of 288, down 0.7% on the day, closing at 289.88. The VIX spiked up 12%, ended up closing at 1843. Nvidia hit a high of day of 209 and a low of day of 203, ended up closing at 204.65, down 1.3%. Google hit a high of day of 372 and a low of day of 362, ended up closing at 363, down 2.5%. Next, we got Apple. Hit a high of day of 302 and a low of day of 294. Ended up closing at 295, down 1.1% on the day. Next, Microsoft. Man, this thing sold off even more. Microsoft hit a high of day of 390 and a low of day of 377. Wow. Ended up closing at 378, down 3.7%. Next, we got Amazon. Hit a high of day of 245, a low of day of 236. Ended up closing at 237, down 3.4% on the day. SpaceX hit a high of day of 213 and a low of day of 187. Ended up closing at 191, down 4.9% on the day. TSM hit a high of day of 442 and a low of day of 431. Ended up closing at 432, up 1.4%. Next, we got AVGO. Hit a high of day of 400 and a low of day of 382. Ended up closing at 392, up 4.3% on the day. Next, we got Tesla. Hit a high of day of 405 and a low of day of 393. Ended up closing at 396, down 2% on the day. MU hit a high day of 1,093 and a low of day of 1,014. Ended up closing at 1,043, up 2.2% on the day. Next, we got Meta Platforms. Let me delete this gap. It looks like this gap has been filled. Okay, Meta hit a high of day of 593 and a low of day of 566. Ended up closing at 567, down 5.4% on the day. And we got Berkshire B. Hit a high of day of 494 and a low of day of 487. Ended up closing at 491, down 0.7% on the day. All right, let's check out the sectors, y'all. All the sectors are red. All the sectors are red, y'all. Oh, before we go to the sectors, let's actually do SPY in the Qs. Did I do SPY in the Qs? I did. Nah, I did. I already did. I'm tripping, y'all. I'm tripping. Let's go back to the sectors. Okay. XLK, the technology sector. Looks like it filled this gap, so we can go ahead and delete this gap. So it had a high. I'm not going to say all that for these sectors. XLK was down 0.3% on the day. XLY down 2.5% on the day. XLC down 2.7% on the day. XLE down 1.2% on the day. XLF down 0.5% on the day. XLV down 1.4% on the day. XLP down 2.2% today. XLU down 1.3% today. XLI down 0.1% on the day. XLB down 1.3% today. XLRE, our real estate sector, down 2.5% today. All right, let's check out some ETFs, y'all. SPYM down 1.2%. QQQM down 0.9%. SPYG down 1.1%. SOXQ up 1.4%. TQQQs down 2.9%. SOXL up 3.3%. SMH looks like it filled the gap, so we can delete this gap off of here. Up 1.2% today. SOXX also filled the gap. We can delete this. Finish up 1.4%. XLG down 1.5%. The IVES 30 down 0.9%. SPYI down 1%. QQQI down 0.8%. All right, let's get into some news. All right, let's check out Tony Robbins. He was dropping some game on his clip.
Give an example to a young kid the other day, so I actually did the math on it. You have an iPhone?
Yeah.
Okay, have you always had an iPhone?
Well, yeah, for the last decade or more, yeah.
All right. So iPhone's around for what, 18 years, 19 years? I went and did the numbers and found out what the cost was for every iPhone, added up. If you got an iPhone each time, if somebody who's older did, you spent $22,000 and some change. That's the retail price. If you bought the stock, I went and saw what the stock was on the same day the thing came out, and you bought the stock, same amount of money of the stock.
Apple stock.
$326,000 right now. Instead of out 22 grand, you have 326. If you're going to use an Apple phone, I'm not saying Apple specifically, I'm not making a recommendation. Why would you not own the company? Right? Because we don't teach people to think that way. And so now they think communism is going to be the answer. They don't understand what that really means. They have no clue. So you have to become an owner. That's what you have to.
Yeah, it's crazy that people is buying every iPhone and not investing in no Apple shares. Damn. So the people that did that, they spent $22,000 on iPhones, and they could have made $326,000 if they had bought shares instead of iPhones. Imagine that, y'all. Imagine that. All right, next. HSBC and Google Cloud just announced a new multi-year partnership to roll out AI tools across HSBC's global operations, including through projects that can each generate more than $100 million in extra revenue or savings. Shout out Google, man. Okay, Google's $1 billion investment in SpaceX, made in 2015, 11 years ago, is now worth over $200 billion, y'all. Wow. 200x. That's the power of pre-IPO investing, man. 200x. Even if I could have put a rack up in there and got 200x. You know what I mean? Shit. Here go dude. So dude from Snapchat, right? He got these AR glasses and they sell them for $2,200. But they look goofy though. That's the thing. I think he should have just made them look like sunglasses instead of having all that reflection on the thing. But I don't think the issue with this is people that use Snapchat are like teenagers and below. So they don't have $2,200 to spend on no glasses. They not about to get $2,200 from their parents. So this thing is not going to sell just the way Apple Vision Pro didn't sell. So the stock went down when they came out with that. Bad idea, man. All right. Let's check out some more. Let's see. Oh, so the Snapchat stock dropped 8.1% when he came out with them glasses. It's gonna flop, y'all. It's definitely gonna flop. The U.S. and Iran have electronically signed the Memorandum of Understanding to end the conflict, with the agreement now officially in effect. Let's see how long it lasts. You know how this has been going back and forth for 4 months. Apple CEO Tim Cook just said that Apple plans to raise prices on its products to offset the surging cost of memory and storage chips. All right. Well, I didn't prepare more news, so we're going to end it right there on the news. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Shout out to everybody on YouTube Live. You know how we like to end the show with some Instagram motivation.
Chase excellence, never chase money. Why? Because money has an incredible way of finding excellence. Did you chase excellence and not money? Do you have the intellectual curiosity to learn everything you can about this incredible industry and master it? Become the smartest person in the room. Have you mastered it?
Thank y'all for tuning in. This has been the $1 Trillion Tickers Market Check-In. I'm your host, Matt Riches, and we'll be back in the morning for the pre-market briefing. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. $1 Trillion Tickers.